Good morning. Oh my goodness. Good morning, everyone. Whew. I have some announcements to make. I have some updates for you. It has been a crazy 24 hours, and I just want to share it all with you. So, as you come in the room, say hello. I'm going to get quick to the point. But as you see by the graphic, I'm here to talk to you about the Contractors Intensive this morning. I am signing a contract on the hotel today. So the hotel information, yes, the hotel information is being released today. Whew, it is a beautiful, beautiful location. It was my first choice. It is an all-inclusive place. And because of some of their requirements, there have been some changes to the registration, which is there's only one ticket price now for the contractor intensive. That's $14.95, which includes a continental breakfast and lunch for all participants. So, one ticket price, one breakfast and lunch daily for all participants. So, everybody's VIP at the contractor's intensive. So that's what I was waiting for. Everybody gets the upscale gift bag that I was planning. Everybody gets the VIP carpet treatment at the contractor's intensive. Everybody gets the additional sessions at the contractor's intensive. That's what I wanted to talk about this morning. I wanted to just go a little deeper, and the dates have changed. These were the dates that I wanted in the first place. So when you walk out the intensive, you walk out ready for the start of the government year. Government year, October 1st, contractor intensive, September 27th, 28th, and 29th. So those are the major changes. The agenda is almost set in stone. I have a couple of more facilitators to lock in, and with the date change, perhaps I can get my first choice facilitators because they couldn't do the original dates. So maybe they can do these dates. And actually, it's funny because when I reached out to someone last night, it turns out they were going to have to back out because they made a scheduling plan. There was a conflict that they didn't know about. So the date change worked out. So I'm pumped. I'm excited. And I just want to talk to you a little more about the Contractors Intensive. Why should you be in the room? And who should be in the room? Let's talk about that a little bit. The Contractors Intensive is designed for new and mid-tier government contractors. Those who have been in government contracting about 2 to 5 years, you have upwards to about 250,000 in revenue. I would call you the accidental contractors. You have government contracts, or you're seeking to get government contracts, but you don't quite know how to do it. You don't know how to establish those metrics. You're submitting invoices, but every invoice you submit gets rejected, and you have to amend them 4 or 5 times, and you don't know why. You just keep amending them and some resubmitting them, and you're frustrated in the process. Your projects are set up in your system, and you think they're set up right, and you're not sure. You're on the cusp of applying for your 8A, and you want to ensure that you're 8A ready. You're on the cusp of growing your contracting business, but you want to ensure that you're growing correctly. You need to be in the room. This is 3 days of establishing or reestablishing a profitable contracting company. There is so much more to the story than responding to an RFP. I don't know why everybody wants to just boil down government contracting to a proposal and a certification. There's so much more to the story. There are rules of engagement. There are rules to the industry that you must be aware of and that you are responsible for, whether you're aware of them or not. You know that old saying, ignorance of law does not absolve you of the responsibility? Same with government contracting. There are triggers in government contracting that makes you covered by certain rules and regulation. Most of you are operating government contracting without a disclosure statement. And when the auditors come and you don't have one, your billing will be suspended and you're sitting there dead in the water and don't know why. That's why you need to be in the room. There's so much more. I love the conversation that we need to complete conversations around this. I always say there are too many incomplete conversations surrounding government contracting. Well, 3 days in Charlotte, North Carolina, we're going to start completing some of those conversations. My facilitators are coming in. We're talking about the responsibility and the role of contractor. We're talking about developing a capture and development plan. We're talking about the whole life cycle of government contracting because it's quiet as it kept. A lot of people in government contractors accidentally won their first 1, 2, 3, or 4 government contracts. They're the accidental government contractors. How do I know? Because I've interviewed some of them. And they couldn't tell me how they won their contracts to save their life. They couldn't reproduce that if they wanted to. How did they win their contracts? I don't know. What are their plans when those contracts run out? I don't know. Well, what are you doing now? They just so happen to have won multi-year contracts. So they're resting on those multi-year contracts. What happens if the funding on those contracts gets suspended? They don't know. There are too many they don't know responses. You need to be in the room. If an auditor walked in your door, do you know what you're required to give, how you're required to give it, how are you required to respond? Are you required to even submit an incurred cost submission? Do you know why you have a cage code? If your answer to any of those questions are, I don't know, you need to be in the room because that's too many I don't knows. Do you file your taxes on a yearly basis? If the answer is no, you need to go talk to a tax professional, but you need to be in the room because that is a major noncompliance. You have too many I don't knows. There's so much more to the story. You need to be in the room at the Contractors Intensive. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to release interviews of each of the facilitators. There's not sneak previews to the content. No. You want the content, you need to be in the room. But they're glimpses of the facilitators, their expertise, who they are, and why you should be in the room. As a part of this platform and a part of Contractors Conversation. But every government contractor should, in that mid-tier area, should be at the Contractors Intensive. I am recreating for the smaller contractors what costs upwards of $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 at the mid-tier smaller range. Just for you, because quite frankly, the newer companies, most can't afford the $5,000 investment or don't want to afford, whichever it may be. But it's in my heart to bring that level of content to you. $14.95, 3 days, Charlotte, North Carolina. We're talking about business credit. Too many contractors, too many companies I personally have spoken to have lost out on contracting opportunities because they have not established their business credit. And when I've asked about what your credit profile looked like, they didn't know. We're talking about business credit. We're talking about business taxes. We're talking about leadership in contracting, and we're talking about what a contracting officer is looking for from their contractor. We're talking about incurred cost submission, when you should submit one, proposal writing. I'm decoding the RFP. You want to be in the room for that. We're talking about rate development, the proper way to develop rates. If I hear one more contractor talk about they have 20 sets of rates, I'm a scream. If you have 20 sets of rates, you're inefficient. You can't even sustain that for an audit. And I would guarantee you have some redundancies. I'm going to stand 10 toes down and say nobody needs 20 cents a bid, 20 bid rates. Not for a small company. Unless you have 20 contracts that are so unique, it requires 20 rates. No company, no small business should have 20 rates. Now, I've worked at a company that had in excess of 20 rates, but that was a multi-billion-dollar company. And its structure required it to have such rates. And its contract mix required that. But that is so advanced, and that is such a structure. But a small company, no, don't need that. Contract types, contracts mix, that strategy, if that strategic plan, if your plan is just going through the system and picking something you like, you need to be in a room because that isn't sustainable. And then so many people get frustrated with government contracting because they can't seem to win because you're not strategic, you don't have a plan. The government year is fastly approaching. It's fastly ending and fastly approaching. How about that? And I know that wasn't proper grammar, but that was intended. You need a strategic plan. And if you're not sure how to craft that plan, if you're not sure where to start, if you're looking for a partner, your next subcontracting partner may be in the room next to you. You don't meet partners necessarily or online, you meet them sitting in the room. Now, there's only a limited number of attendees. The link is in the description. It's in the graphic. I implore you, go check out the website. Check out the content of who the facilitators are. I'm announcing the facilitators daily. The information regarding our facilitators are up. Sponsorship opportunities. Every participant, every registrant business will be listed in our program book. So when you leave there with the book, you have opportunity to network after the event is over. Now, if you choose not to list your book, your company, for whatever reason, you can let us know in the registering process and we just won't list your company. I don't know why you wouldn't want to contract with somebody you're in the room with, but you have that option. There is so much rich content. There's so many people ready to transform your business. We are ready to, for 3 days, become a part of your team. As my mentor says, you don't go as far as your dream, you go as far as your team. And for those 3 days, we're stepping in to become a part of your team, to lead you towards that transformation. And with that, I say, I'm looking forward to you being in the room for the Contractors Intensive. I'm excited. The room block, I'm signing the contract today. As I said, breakfast and lunch is included with your ticket price. Oh, it's just so much going on. Interviews with all the facilitators are dropping soon. And I will see you on tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. for back to regular program for another installment of Contractors Chatter. This is Luciana Turner, your host. If you have questions for me, please do not hesitate to email me or direct message me on any of my platforms. Chatter will stream solely to LinkedIn and YouTube beginning in June. Sorry, Facebook. We're going to stop streaming to Facebook. So I'm looking forward to everybody seeing as many of you as possible at the Contractors Intensive this September 27th through the 29th in Charlotte, North Carolina. Have an amazing day. See you tomorrow.